Every person you meet is fighting an invisible storm, a surge of thoughts, doubts, and fears swirling just beneath the surface. You can do everything right, blend in, smile through the motions, and still feel like chaos is boiling inside. That's not a weakness. It simply means no one ever taught you how to protect your own mind. We're taught to chase goals, to hustle, to survive. But how many of us ever learned how to be still, how to let go, and how to think clearly when the world is loud and demanding? Most never do. That's why so many carry exhaustion and worry, hidden behind a calm face. But what if the clarity you need isn't out there, it's within? What if peace isn't the absence of problems, but the presence of perspective? The Stoics believed real power comes from mastering your mind. If you don't control your thoughts, they control you. Left unchecked, your thoughts become chains. Understood, they become tools. In this video, you'll discover the exact Stoic tools to clear mental clutter, calm anxious noise, and take back control from toxic thoughts. We'll walk through step-by-step practices to recognize, confront, and redirect the patterns that drain your energy so you can finally build focus, inner strength, and the kind of clarity that endures even when life gets loud. And here's the truth the world rarely teaches. Clearing your mind is not about forcing your thoughts away, but learning to witness them without judgment. The more you practice, the more you'll find that stillness and clarity are skills you build, not gifts you wait for. Welcome to Stoic Philosophy Daily, where your story matters. Share your experience or the most arduous inner struggle you face below. Every comment is a gift. Here, your voice matters. We read with care, answer with heart, and treat your journey as part of our own. This is more than a channel. It's a circle of strength. Type in the comments, "I clear the storm inside." Your journey to mental freedom starts right now. 1. You are not your thoughts. Your mind is always building, quietly, steadily, out of whatever you give it to work with. Not truth, not perfection, but attention. What you focus on again and again, whether peace or pain, worry or wonder, becomes the blueprint for your inner world. If you continue to train your mind to identify what's missing or wrong, it will become an expert at finding more of it. But if you begin to gently redirect toward what's healing, what's working, you start opening new pathways, new habits, even a new sense of self and reality. This isn't toxic positivity. It's not about denying the complex parts of life. It's about choosing where your attention belongs, because attention is energy, and your life will always follow its direction. The brain is shaped by what you repeat. Focus becomes a habit. Habit becomes identity. Over time, that identity colors every moment, from pain to possibility, from limitation to hope. So reclaim your attention. You don't have to force away the negative or fake happiness. Redirect, slowly, gently, and deliberately, each day, each breath. Each time you do, you reclaim a little more energy, a bit of clarity, and the power to move through the fog toward what matters most. Clarity isn't found by waiting. It's earned by the quiet, brave decision to begin exactly where you are, with what you have, and to keep moving, one small choice at a time. At Stoic Philosophy Daily, your focus is your foundation. Comment below, "I choose to build my world with intention." What's one slight shift in focus you'll practice this week? If this message spoke to you, there's another lesson waiting for you, just one click away. Thank you for being part of this journey, for bringing your voice and your courage to our circle of strength. 2. Clarity is not the absence of thought, but awareness. When you're alone and doubt creeps in, remember this. You are not the fear whispering in your mind, and you are not the old story playing on a loop. You are the one who notices these thoughts, and that ability to see is your superpower. As Carl Jung said, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. That truth cracks open the cage. Your past does not define you. Your wounds are not your destiny. You don't have to keep reciting the same script just because your mind hands it to you. Thoughts drift across the sky of your awareness, sometimes heavy and dark, sometimes light as air. Your work isn't to chase them, argue with them, or try to silence them. It's to watch calmly with patience and without judgment. Imagine your mind as a garden. Some weeds come from seeds you never planted, as well as beliefs and patterns you didn't choose. But once you truly see them, you regain the freedom to choose what stays and what goes. Every observation and every pause clears a bit of mental clutter, allowing something more intentional to take root. Clarity isn't the absence of thought. It's learning which thoughts deserve your attention. Peace isn't about making your mind silent. It's the discipline not to feed every passing impulse. Initially, when you stop answering the noise, the volume may increase. That's just withdrawal from habits that have run your mind for years. With time and repetition, quiet returns, not empty but filled with your real self. The part untouched by every doubt or worry. This is not an overnight change. Even one moment of seeing a thought without being consumed by it is a victory, a crack in the wall, a shaft of light. Each pause makes you less reactive and more intentional. You start noticing real choices, to pause or to react, to listen or to believe. Bit by bit, you move from surviving your thoughts to actually living your life. Remember, clarity doesn't come from more thinking, but from noticing more. Try this. For the next week, whenever a stressful or negative thought appears, pause. Picture it as a cloud drifting by or a weed in the garden. Instead of reacting, jot it down or name it. Ask yourself, does this thought belong here? Is it helping me become who I want to be? Breathe, let it pass, and redirect your focus to an action or a value that matters. Notice how this practice slowly builds your awareness, calms your mind, and makes space for your authentic self beneath the noise. At Stoic Daily, we believe clarity is born from awareness, not avoidance. Drop "I choose awareness" over autopilot in the comments. What's one old pattern you're ready to notice and release? 3. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. Clarity isn't about thinking more. It's about noticing more. The real power comes from creating space between who you are and what your mind tries to convince you of. In that space, your focus returns. Your energy stops leaking into endless what-ifs, and you finally see that thoughts lose their grip the moment you stop believing every story they tell. Most people don't realize this. Every thought has a life cycle. A doubt or worry often starts as a whisper, triggered by a memory, an emotion, or even fatigue. It grabs your attention and shifts your mood. And if you let it, it becomes a pattern that replays whenever you're tired, lonely, or vulnerable. The pattern becomes so familiar that it turns into background noise. Over time, you stop noticing it until you finally pause, observe, and start breaking the loop. Next time your mind throws out a painful narrative, pause, breathe, ask, is this really me? Or just an old voice I've heard so often it started to feel true? Decide if it deserves your energy. Most thoughts don't. Most are echoes from past chapters, not commands for your future. By pausing and noticing the timing, the trigger, and the emotional hook, you begin to see these thoughts as patterns, not reality. Clarity starts with learning to listen without becoming. Awareness isn't a lightning bolt. It's a quiet shift, a gentle moment where you catch yourself before spiraling. You start noticing the mind's favorite reruns, old fears, old scripts. Specific thoughts only visit under stress. Some are just habits from the past. Others are residue from wounds you've carried for years. Recognizing this life cycle is the heart of mental freedom. The more you witness these patterns, the less they own you. What used to hit like a fact now sounds like repetition. Anxious thoughts lose their bite. Old criticisms become background noise. You don't have to answer every mental call. Let it ring. This isn't about fighting your mind or silencing your thoughts. It's about seeing them clearly without running or judgment. That's the actual start of freedom. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That gap between thought and response is where awareness is born and where you reclaim your power to choose. At first, you won't catch every thought. Some will still pull you in, and that's normal. But even then, you can look back and gently ask, what was really happening there? Each time you reflect, and each time you watch with patience instead of panic, you loosen the old knots. You see the stories for what they are, and slowly begin to write new ones with more compassion. Try this. This week, when a painful or repetitive thought arises, pause and try to spot the pattern. Does it always show up at night, after setbacks, or when you feel isolated? Notice the timing, the trigger, the tone. Instead of trying to fix or resist, observe and breathe. Over time, notice how much lighter your mind feels when you witness thoughts rather than fighting against them. Awareness is not just noticing a thought, it's tracing its life cycle, understanding when and why it appears, and realizing you can always choose to respond differently. At Stoic Daily, we believe awareness is the foundation of freedom. Drop "I practice awareness over reaction" in the comments. What's one old mental loop you're ready to witness without fear? 4. Put the unsaid into words. If you feel lost in your own thoughts, overwhelmed by too much, too fast, or too loud, don't start with control, start with attention. Awareness does the quiet work that force never could. The mind calms not when you fight your thoughts, but when you finally allow yourself to understand them. Some thoughts don't scream, they whisper. They linger quietly in the background, unnamed but heavy, and their weight is often felt in your body long before your mind can catch them. You notice these silent thoughts in lonely moments, in stillness, or when something small stirs something profound. They linger not because they're too powerful, but because they've never been brought into the light. Suppressed pain, old grief, anger, or guilt aren't erased by silence. They only grow roots, leaking into tension, fatigue, or sudden overreactions. Beneath the surface, your energy is spent holding a door shut against all that's unspoken. Clarity is not about positive thinking. It's about honesty, the courage to meet yourself where you actually are. There's a real transformation in putting the unsaid into words. You don't have to make a speech. Whisper it in your journal, in your car, or alone at night. Even imperfectly, naming what you've carried loosens its grip. You are not defined by what you bury. You are determined by your willingness to face it. We often fear our own truth more than the judgment of others, hiding pain as if silence protects us. But healing comes from walking through the storm with your eyes open. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." This isn't suppression, it's meeting your experience head-on. What you refuse to face owns a piece of you, but honesty lets you begin to reclaim it. Sometimes the most healing act isn't to fix the thought, but to give it a voice. Write it, speak it, or breathe into it. Expression reveals what has been quietly shaping your mood and reactions. Once it's out, you create space to breathe again. Sharing even a sentence with someone you trust can lift years of pressure. You don't have to explain it perfectly, just let it be real. The moment your truth becomes audible, it loses its power to hurt you in silence. And if you're not ready to speak, a single honest breath, admitting what you feel, can begin the release. Pain, grief, or guilt aren't just mental. They live in your chest, your gut, your breath. The more space you give these feelings to surface and move through you, the lighter you become. Not because pain disappears, but because you're no longer alone with it. You finally listened. As Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Knowing is the courage to sit with what you once ran from, to see that it was never as terrifying as you believed. Pain isolates, but honesty connects. When you bring your story into the light, you realize you're not alone. Everyone carries something unsaid. Try this. Tonight, take 5 minutes to write down a truth you've never voiced. Don't edit. Let it be raw. Notice what shifts in your body as you give it shape. If you're ready, share a sentence with someone you trust or speak it aloud, even just to yourself. Watch as the weight shifts, the storm begins to clear, and the real you starts to breathe again. At Stoic Daily, we believe facing the unsaid is the start of absolute clarity. Drop "I choose honesty over silence" in the comments. What's one truth you're finally ready to voice? 5. You can't build focus in a mind full of ghosts. There's a pain that lingers, a replay of moments and mistakes that should have faded but still live in your mind like yesterday's shadow. You catch yourself looping on old conversations, regrets, and losses, not because they deserve more energy, but because some part of you is still trying to rewrite them. You tell yourself that if you revisit the past one more time, maybe you'll find peace. But all you discover is erosion. Every time you relive old wounds, you tear them open again, hoping for closure they'll never give. The past doesn't change. Only your relationship to it can. Those echoes become ghosts, haunting your focus and your present. Your mind can only hold so much. When you keep anchoring attention to regrets, there's no room left for clarity. You can't build focus in a mind full of ghosts. Most of what you fixate on can't be changed, yet it clouds your present and makes it hard to see what's truly in front of you. You're not stuck because of what happened. You're stuck because you haven't let go of what never brought you peace. Letting go isn't pretending the pain didn't matter. It's refusing to let it define you or keep you bleeding. As Epictetus taught, people are not disturbed by things but by the views they take of them. Suffering lasts not because of the event, but because of how tightly you hold on to it. Memory is not protection. Awareness is. You don't have to relive the past to honor the lesson, and you don't have to let what hurt you keep running your life. Forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness, is a discipline. It's not about erasing history or pretending you were never broken. It's saying, I did my best, I learned, and I choose to move forward. You don't have to keep carrying stones for people who never cared to lighten your load. Release isn't avoidance. It's facing the wound, seeing it, and choosing not to let it consume another hour of your life. Otherwise, you keep missing what's blooming now, stuck in the ruins of what withered. Ask yourself, how much longer will you let yesterday ruin today? How long will you trade your peace for pain already paid? Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about rewriting your relationship to the past so you can finally feel something different. Sometimes it's a grand moment. Sometimes it's just a breath, a memory surfaces, and you choose to observe, not relive. The echo fades. You come back to what's real, here and now. Try this. The next time an old regret or painful memory rises, pause, place a hand on your chest, breathe, remind yourself, this is not the present, this is just a thought, not a sentence. You are allowed to leave the past behind. Each time you choose presence over the echo, focus returns, energy returns, and life feels lighter. At Stoic Daily, we believe clarity is built on release, not rumination. Drop "I release the ghost" in the comments. What's one old echo you're finally ready to let go of? 6. The voice that follows you inside. There's a voice inside your mind. It's not loud, but it's relentless, never shouting, always whispering in your own words and judgments, making it easy to mistake for the truth. It tells you you're behind, that you should have done more, that you'll never quite get it right. It pushes you to chase perfection but never lets you rest. Underneath that push isn't motivation, but fear. Fear of being left behind, not measuring up, or being rejected by a standard you never chose. This voice wasn't born from nowhere. It's built from years of comparison, criticism, and unmet expectations. Lines learned from school, family, society, and your own patterns of doubt. Over time, it became so automatic that you stopped questioning it. You shrank, took fewer risks, and started to believe that maybe this voice was just who you were. But it isn't. It's a script you never agreed to, and it's one you can rewrite at any time. Trying to silence the critic by fighting it makes it louder. Its grip weakens not by argument, but through small, consistent acts of courage. Showing up when you want to hide, taking one step when you want to freeze, and choosing progress over perfection. Each time you move forward despite the critic, you gather proof that it doesn't own the whole story. Gradually, the more you act, the quieter it gets, not because it's gone, but because your attention is now on the voice rooted in experience, not fear. This new voice isn't perfect. It still hesitates, but speaks with clarity, kindness, and self-trust. As Carl Jung wrote, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Maybe that's why the critic persists, to keep you from embracing all your messy, unfinished, still growing parts. But every time you act anyway, you prove the critic wrong, and bit by bit, you become unshakable. Failure doesn't define you. What you do next does. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." That's the critic's favorite trick, turning imagined fears into facts. But the more you see these stories for what they are, the more you reclaim your power. Freedom isn't about erasing the critic, but starving it of attention. You can't find peace by chasing outer silence if your mind is still at war. Real peace comes when you act with intention, shift your focus, and refuse to measure your worth by the critic's old script. Try this. When the inner voice pipes up, "You're not enough, you'll never change," pause. Don't argue. Do one small thing you'd do if you trusted yourself, even for a minute. Notice how the critic fades when you move. Each time you choose effort over perfection and action over rumination, you write a new story, and the background noise grows quieter. At Stoic Daily, we believe progress isn't measured by perfection, but by presence. Drop "I choose action over criticism" in the comments. What's one thing you'll do today, even if the inner critic is loud? 7. Stillness is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You can have perfect quiet around you, no noise, no deadlines, no demands, and still feel like you're drowning. Because true stillness has nothing to do with what's outside. It's silence on the inside, and that's much harder to find. Most people chase external calm, thinking it will settle the storm within. But peace isn't found, it's built by learning to sit with yourself, undistracted and honest. Not running, not fixing, not hiding, just being. Real stillness doesn't wait for perfection. It shows up when you stop demanding it and start embracing the present. It's the courage to notice your thoughts without chasing them, to feel discomfort without running, to return again and again to the act of simply being. Yes, the mind will try to fill the silence with old memories, unfinished tasks, worries you thought you'd left behind. That's not failure, that's the work. Stillness isn't the absence of noise. It's the willingness to face what arises, listening without reacting, and understanding what's there. This is the kind of inner quiet that changes you from the inside out. As Seneca wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Stillness teaches you exactly this. Sit with yourself for even a few minutes a day, and the future loosens its grip. Yesterday fades, and you're left with the only moment that's real, this one. It's a gift, 5 or 10 minutes, no music, no scrolling, no tasks. Just breathe, just awareness. Over time, your nervous system resets, your thoughts slow, and what stress made blurry comes into focus. Stillness becomes your compass, teaching that you're not your impulses, that not every thought needs a reaction, that you don't have to rush every moment. With stillness inside, chaos loses its power. You might still feel pressure, but instead of being thrown, you respond with presence and patience. Carl Jung wrote, "Silence is of great help to a man who is in the process of discovering something in his soul." In stillness, you find yourself, not the version shaped by stress, but the one always waiting to be heard. Try this. Each day this week, set aside 5 to 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no tasks. Just breathe and notice what rises. When old fears or worries surface, sit with them. Don't run, don't fix, just witness. Notice your mind's urge to fill the silence and choose patience. Over time, what once seemed overwhelming becomes manageable, and the real you emerges from the quiet. At Stoic Daily, we believe stillness is the starting point for clarity and strength. Drop "I choose stillness" in the comments. When will you give yourself the gift of inner quiet today? Attention builds your inner world. Your mind is always building, quietly, steadily, out of whatever you give it to work with. Not truth, not perfection, but attention. What you focus on again and again, whether peace or pain, worry or wonder, becomes the blueprint for your inner world. If you continue to train your mind to identify what's missing or wrong, it will become an expert at finding more of it. But if you begin to gently redirect toward what's healing, what's working, you start opening new pathways, new habits, even a new sense of self and reality. This isn't toxic positivity. It's not about denying the complex parts of life. It's about choosing where your attention belongs, because attention is energy, and your life will always follow its direction. The brain is shaped by what you repeat. Focus becomes a habit. Habit becomes identity. Over time, that identity colors every moment, from pain to possibility, from limitation to hope. So reclaim your attention. You don't have to force away the negative or fake happiness. Redirect, slowly, gently, and deliberately, each day, each breath. Each time you do, you reclaim a little more energy, a bit of clarity, and the power to move through the fog toward what matters most. Clarity isn't found by waiting. It's earned by the quiet, brave decision to begin exactly where you are, with what you have, and to keep moving, one small choice at a time. At Stoic Philosophy Daily, your focus is your foundation. Comment below, "I choose to build my world with intention." What's one slight shift in focus you'll practice this week? If this message spoke to you, there's another lesson waiting for you, just one click away. Thank you for being part of this journey, for bringing your voice and your courage to our circle of strength. If you're seeking more, discover the full path on my channel, Stoic Philosophy Daily.